Hey friends, good morning. I am excited to be here this morning. I'm sorry that you are having to listen to this recorded, but I realized that I will actually be in the middle of test driving a van at 10 o'clock. So I wanted to make this happen for you today, and I appreciate you allowing me to kind of shift the plan a little bit, but still hopefully bring you really great content. So oftentimes when we do business calls, we talk about prospecting, we talk about teaching classes, we talk about bringing new members into your team. And I realized that our training has been really heavy on that. And we talk a little bit about what you do with your member or your new member once they've joined your team, but we don't talk a ton about it. And so what I wanted to do today is tell you about some tools that I use to build community and to build communication and to build relationship with people who come into my team. So we all know that not everyone who signs someone up turns around and connects them or turns around and continues to provide them with mentoring and with help once they've joined your team. So what I would like to challenge you with is, first of all, if you do sign someone up, it is your obligation, and yes, I'm going to use the word obligation. It is your obligation from Young Living to help that person learn how to live the Young Living lifestyle, learn how to use the product that you've essentially sold them. And nothing is more sad to me than someone who buys a starter kit and then turns around and 12 months later falls off because, or goes inactive because they don't know what to do with that starter kit, or they don't know that Young Living has other options and they were not connected to community. They were not connected to your upline. They were not connected to education. That being said, you can't force people to use what they buy. You can't force people to access education or access that community. But be sure that the people that join your team know where to get information, because guys, there's so much information on the internet these days about essential oils and about health and wellness, and there's lots of really great information and there's lots of really poopy information. So it's important that they know where to get good, accurate information. And as your team grows, having ways to streamline that communication process makes your life easier and makes it more likely that you will maintain communication with people. I don't know about you, but I'm not necessarily a proponent of having everybody and their brother have my personal cell phone number. So I choose to use Project Broadcast. And if you're on the event page for this call, this morning I posted another recording about how I integrate the tool Project Broadcast and Oily Tools. And if you establish an expectation of communication from the time someone signs up, no one is going to be offended when you text them. And you and I both know emails rarely get read because the open rate is less than, I think the last time I read numbers, it was like less than 10% is the open rate on emails. Snail mail, it's expensive. And if you're trying to communicate to a large group of people, it's expensive. But I will say this, if you're new to building with Young Living and you only have a couple of people a month, snail mail, handwritten letters feel so personal and feel so genuine that you actually took time to think about them. And I've seen people's numbers of people who send out welcome packets where it's all kind of a canned thing and there's really not a whole lot handwritten in the packet. it kind of feels impersonal, and I haven't seen amazing numbers of return on investment for stuff like that. But text message, we live in the technology age, and 96% of text messages are opened and read in the first 3 minutes that they're received. So using text message strategically to connect with your downline and to provide good content is a skill that at this point in our business that I would recommend that you learn. It's also one of those things that you're going to need to be in good communication with your upline and find out what they're sending. And so people don't get hit with loads of an overload of messages. And remember, your upline owns their business and your business falls under the umbrella of that. So it is in their best interest to know what you're doing and what you're doing consistently. And it is in your best interest to know what they're doing and what they're doing consistently. Be really good open lines of communication between you and your upline. And realize that if your upline doesn't see you being consistent with what you've said you're going to do, that's going to really complicate your relationship with them. And because their success is dependent on your success, and success comes from great communication with the downline and good community building with the downline. And that's something we don't talk a lot about, is how does the upline, downline, who's communicating with who, how does that work, and how does that work in a healthy way? So have really great open lines of communication, upline and downline, and know what your downline is doing. If you're big enough to have builders under you, know what they're doing. It is in your best interest to know what they're doing. And guys, let your new enrollees know, hey, I've got this really great mentor. I've got access to these really great resources, because you never know when life is going to hit the fan and you need to take a step back. If your downline is not connected to your upline, it's going to be really rough on your business. And if you, for some reason, decide to take a step back or need to take a step back, if your downline isn't then supported by folks getting your wheels going, getting your business going again, and I've seen this happen in my downline, it takes more effort to restart the engine than it does to start it from the beginning. And so getting folks connected, getting folks expecting communication from other people in your upline is in your best interest. It's not a territory competition. We are a team, and you need to plug your people into a team. And right now, I'm using Project Broadcast to do that. I want to share, let me see if I can find this. I want to share a screen with you real quick and show you where you can get Project. So go watch that video that I posted earlier today. Then if you're not a part of the AN World Changers Facebook group, message me and I'll get you plugged in there. But Project Broadcast does not have to be complicated. Getting it set up does not have to be complicated. We have created so many pre-designed bundles and campaigns that really it's kind of a plug and play kind of thing. I mean, there'll be a little bit of a setup, but if you're executive or less, this is going to be really easy. So we've got lots of different campaigns here that the text and the graphics and everything are all ready to go. Here's a 10-day welcome class that Madison Goodyear made. And it talks about essential rewards. It talks about the team page. You're going to need to edit it to talk about you, because obviously this is Madison's content. So she's talking about her. So it's up to you to go in and edit that. There's some of these in here that I need to take out because they're kind of obsolete. But there's a 52-week text campaign. I need to update this because I've now edited it to go through May of 2020. And then there's a whole bunch of templates that I made to be able to text your team. Go in and check your downline every day and see who's on Essential Rewards and see if they're about to miss promos. I've yet to have someone that I texted and said, hey, did you know you're like 15 PV away from the 190 promo? Be mad about that. Like, that's just not a thing. And out of the 8,000 people that I have in my contact list on Project Broadcast, I think I have less than 200 people who've said unsubscribe me. So really great stats on using a really simple, powerful tool. It's 2 pennies a text, cheapest marketing you will ever do. And there's ways to use it at vendor events. But what I want you to focus on right now, learning, is how do you use it to build community and communication and ways to connect with your downline. So go watch the video. That's the YouTube. It's called Recording 5. I get really creative with my YouTube names. I'm sorry. I need to get better at that skill. I need to learn. And then go create your Project Broadcast account if you don't already have one. And if you need a referral code, let me know. It comes with 500 free texts for you. And then get that set up and let your team know, hey, this is who I am. Adela Davis has a phenomenal, hey, I'm your oily gal, introductory text, so that when you start texting people from this strange number, it gives them an idea of who to save that number as. So I will be happy to answer questions in the events page, but right now I need to go and wish me luck. I'm excited. I'm going to go test drive and hopefully drive home a new car.